Hello, and welcome to the About Healing podcast, a show created for those on or awakening into their spiritual journeys, and who are ready, wanting, and learning how to heal themselves. I am your host, About Healing medium and certified spiritual healer, Cherie Buckman. It is my purpose to guide others to the path of self-healing and to inspire those on their spiritual journeys in finding their truths. Join me as I share my experience and unfiltered perspective in healing, as well as the incredible wisdom of the loving energy that guides us. Let's begin. Well, hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to another episode of About Healing podcast. I am so excited for today. This is going to be a beautiful episode because, again, I get to talk to somebody from my own wellness tribe, and I get to introduce her to you, which I'm going to keep you in suspense just for another moment because I wanted to be sure to go ahead and pull the card for this week in our self-care oracle deck by Jill Pyle. And so this week I have read. So I'm going to go ahead and read from the guidebook on this card. Whether the book is a fantasy novel or a work of nonfiction, reading opens us to new perspectives and expands our minds. Get your hands on a book that gets you excited. Borrow one from a friend, visit your local library, and ask the librarian for top picks. Or go to a bookstore and browse the recommended titles tables. Turn the experience of discovering what's just right for you into an adventure. Make sure you set aside some time to read a few pages each day. This self-care practice can be the perfect for beginning your day or winding down in the evening. Consider how reaching for a book instead of your phone could support you in finding more balance. Oh, I love this. And the journal prompt that goes with this card this week is: what was your favorite book to read as a kid? And how does it make you feel to think about reading it now? Ooh, reflection, reflection. I love it. So let's get on with the episode. As much as I love the card, I want to move in and introduce the guest today. Our guest today is a new friend of mine whom we have met recently. Her name is Miss Charity Youngblood. Now, she is amazing, and she herself in 2001, after being guided by her wise council members, guided her to start sharing her gift of asking the right questions to a bigger audience. And so then she started a 5-minute, you guys, 5-minute podcast on life's questions and lessons, which is also the name. How amazing. So that was easy for me to get into it for myself. But her passion of self-reflection, it helps women cultivate a self-reflection practice of their own. And so very recently this year, she has just expanded to YouTube videos. Oh, I feel you in this. Oh my gosh. Only because I feel the suffering that goes with it. And offering 5-minute guided journaling and guided meditations sessions. And what the most beautiful thing is that Charity believes that we are here on this planet to help each other. And that is exactly what she continues to do with her work. She hopes that her words empower, encourage, and inspire you to embrace who you are while becoming who you are meant to be. Oh, welcome, Miss Charity.
Thank you, Cherie. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited to be here. This is so awesome.
Well, trust me, I feel just the same way. And I mean, this is exciting. So, and even you have a podcast, but how exciting is it still to go on somebody else's or just to go and chat with a friend and other people get to hear it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely here for you. It's like whatever you're working on, I'm there. So I am excited to just be here to support you. Ever since the day we met, I was like, whatever you need, if I can help, I'm going to figure out a way to help. So I'm just, yeah, I'm really, really excited to be here. So thanks for having me.
Oh, the honor is mine, and you're almost bringing tears to my eyes. I feel the flutter in it because
Oh.
it's still, hey guys, I did a whole episode last season on receiving. It's still hard to receive compliments or hearing that from other people, but we're growing and we're learning in it. And, it is, I think it would be really fun actually to share that story of how we met because it was divinely led. I absolutely feel that completely.
Absolutely. It's funny because I'm gonna get the name of the conference wrong. Do you remember the actual name of the I know it's a podcast conference, but I feel like it was PodCon, but that doesn't sound right. So
Pod
whatever the
movement.
was that it? Podcast movement?
Yes.
Sure.
I know what? I knew it until you questioned it. The moment you started questioning it, I was like, wait, wait, where'd it go? I had it.
File deleted. That's like, yeah, out of your brain. Anyway, yes, you're right. It was podcast movement. And it's so funny. I have to caveat this because I love, I really do enjoy talking to people, but conferences and big audiences and all that, it really drains me. And so I was so excited that they were offering yoga sessions in the morning every day before the conference started. I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. So that is where we met. I think it was, I don't know what day it was in the conference, but it was after one of the amazing yoga sessions that they had outside on the grass. I mean, it was, you can't get any better. And I want to say it was at the end, I was kind of walking away, and I don't, either you stopped me or I stopped you, but the energy was like, it's like magnets. I was like, I have to talk to her. You have to talk to me. Like it was just, and it was just 5 minutes, 10 minutes of a conversation, but it was such a genuine connection of like, no, I'm gonna get to know her. And that was my whole thing with the conference. I don't talk to a lot of people, right? I just kind of felt like I'm going to this conference to meet the one person that I was meant to meet. It doesn't need to be 25, just the one person. And I'm telling you, it was just like, wow, I was so grateful to the universe, to God, to the ancestors. Like, wow, this is really. And since then, we've obviously, spoken a few times after that. But did I miss anything in that explanation?
I'm gonna fill in a couple of blanks on my side. That's
I
all it
feel
is. Just
it.
in my it's my perception and my part of the story of
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
So,
Love it.
yes, everything you said was so right on. We did. We met at podcast movement, during last summer, and it was at a yoga, and it was actually, I think, the last day because
Ah,
Copper and I were staying at a different hotel in the beginning of that week, and we finally got to go stay at the hotel that it was happening, this giant, massive, amazing resort, the last like 2 days. And so that we finally got to do the yoga. I'm like, I have to go do yoga that morning. Yeah, it was after I think the big party the night before. And so, yeah, I just remember that. Anyway, I was there. I just remember doing yoga the whole time. And there was a lot of people out there, but you were in front
yeah.
of me. And I just remember this whole time you had a glow to you. Like there was a glow. There was this
Oh,
like unseen white like glow. Like your aura was sparkling and all I knew is that it was like a magnet. I was so drawn to you, and I couldn't wait for I mean, I loved the yoga, but I also couldn't wait for it to end so that I could just chat with you. And I remember right after, because I wanted to do that, but then someone next to you were talking to someone next to you. So I was waiting patiently, and I was totally like the stalker person because I'm lingering behind. I'm lingering
so
because I
funny.
specifically was waiting to talk to you.
So funny. Oh my God, I love
And
it.
again, if by now, I just know when I am drawn to somebody, there's always a reason. I never know what the reason is. It's never always because, oh, they need a reading or anything else. No, it's just because I'm so drawn to someone's energy and there's something magnetic that the universe always unfolds in somehow. I didn't know. But it was just like you said, and then it was you and I started talking and it was like an explosion. We're like, "Yes, yes." It was just amazing. I think I even mentioned that like my retreat and you're like, "Yes, that's my kind of stuff."
Mhm.
And
That sounds like me. Yep.
yep. And we're like, "Let's chat." And we scanned each other's badges, so we got our contact information, and then, from there, we've had many chats since then, just connecting, and it's been great. And I think that was kinda what the best part is, 'cause I really want to describe Charity for you all, because the reason I have her on here and the reason this big connection and and honestly, there's another piece here that I haven't said out loud yet, not on this anyway, is that during the first time you and I got together and had a chat, I think we did a
Mm,
virtual chat after we got home. It was a while because
right.
you take your vacation, you like your vacations, and you were on a big
Oh,
sabbatical for a
I
while.
have solo retreats every month. I take breaks like nobody's business, let me tell
Mhm.
you.
And you know what? All you're doing is definitely backing what I'm about to say for this, because during that, I just knew, and I remember asking myself before we got on to speak on our first little virtual meeting. I was like, "I don't know what it is. What is it that it draws me to her? What is this big purpose or meaning of why we're being drawn?" And during this, you were just talking about yourself, you were talking about life, and I was hit like a ton of bricks here and there, and things were exploding. It was like fireworks going off, and everybody who listens to my podcast know my firework sound effects. You're getting pew, pew, pew.
I love it. Oh my god.
Because Because Charity is this magnificent, grounded, inspiring person who is so self-assured and so self-aware and full of self-reflection knowledge, right? Which is why I had to, in that moment, I knew it then. I asked her to be a speaker at my About Healing retreat. And what was your answer?
I okay, I don't want to get this wrong. I feel like I said yes right away. I was like, it's a yes because it's you. Because very similar to the way that you're describing me, and it's funny because I love compliments, right? I'm like, oh, give it to me, bring it
Yes.
in, honey. Yes, tell me how awesome I am. Put the ding, 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 right? I love it. But I also come from a family of women who compliment each other, right? So it's
Mhm.
something that is completely natural to me. So
Yes.
total caveat, it's a different experience, but very similar to what you were saying for me. It was like when I met you, there are people that you meet who you just want to be in their, to your point, their aura. You want their energy
Mhm.
around. So I was like, I don't care what you ask me. It's a yes. The only reason it's not a yes is like I literally can't do it. Like it's a scheduling conflict or something like that. But I was like, yes, I don't care. Yes. So yes, there was something around that. Did I get that right?
Yes.
Is that what I said? Okay. Okay.
Yes. Well, because right there at the very end, that's exactly it. You said yes, but you also said, "But I need to check and see what's going on," because you are someone, it's not okay. And maybe it is maybe normal. I don't like using the word normal. It's not a word I
Yeah, I know
really
what you
tend to
mean.
use. But to have someone or to speak with somebody who has this amazing grounding in herself of what's going on and her having honestly, it's the boundaries, it's all that you have so many
Mm,
healthy aspects to your own
mhm,
well-being and
yeah.
how you go about life, just like you said. You come from this family and this background of women who complement each other, who build each other up, and you have this fire underneath you. But you said, "If I can't make it, it's just because I can't." And I
Right.
also and you were explaining, this whole piece, which is why I wanted you to be a speaker because of this attitude and because of how I just want you to share it. People need to hear this, which will be her topic for everybody. It will be her topic, uh, for the retreat. So if you wanna hear it all, you gotta buy your ticket and go see us. However, she is actually, I'm gonna let you say it. What is your topic so that I want people to hear it in your words?
So my topic, and very similar to what you were saying about boundaries, fits right in, but it is how to start saying no when you feel obligated to say yes. How to start saying no when you feel obligated to say yes. And that didn't, I'm gonna be 100% honest, that did not come from my first like pull up of ideas. It really came from the work that I do with other women. I'm on a lot of different groups and conversations just within my wise council, but I do a lot of question asking. I'm always asking questions. I'm always listening to understand, like, how can I help? what can I, very similar to what you're saying, some of the things that come natural to me do not come natural to other people. And I know that I can share what I've learned to help someone else, right? Figure it out on their journey in their way. And so there was this whole thing, it was like a theme that I noticed where people are just like, you just say no so easily. Like, how do you just, it just became this kind of question in different forms, right? And then I started thinking, like, do people really say yes to things that they don't want to say yes to? Like, is this a thing that people do? And it turns out, yes. And
Mhm.
so I started asking questions. I would ask, I think I asked you something similar. If you were asked to be somewhere or go to an event or help with something, like, what's the first thought in your mind? And almost, I don't think there was anybody that I asked that question that said what I think the answer should be. It was usually, well, let me check and see if I can do it. And it's like, no, the first thing is, do you want to do it? Because if
Yeah.
you don't want to do it, it doesn't matter if your calendar is clear. It doesn't matter if the babysitter can come over on time. If you don't want to do it, it's a no. So, anyways, that's how it kind of started.
Mhm.
And then we started getting to the, well, what are the other reasons that people don't say no when they really want to say no? And obligation was number one. It was like
Yeah.
top of the list by far. And I was like, okay, I've got something. And so that's where, the conversations came. It's where the, workshop. I am speaking, but it's definitely more workshop style because I like for
Yeah.
people to do the work, while you're there. I don't want you to just listen to me. I want you to interact with each other and interact with yourself, more importantly. So, anywho, but that was kind of the
Yes.
story, the
Yes.
path, if you
Yes.
will.
Yes. See, I don't know about anybody else listening to this episode because all I know is that hearing her talk about that, there's some like fire and this beautiful information in there because you do. And I love it so much because it is easy for you and you make it sound easy when it is very difficult for a lot of us out there. Because again, with us, it maybe because of the way we were raised or just the way that we are, or even being someone who is very sensitive too. We always are tapping in and feeling the expectations of others. So we're always afraid of letting people down. And it's a really hard thing to say no. And I loved because that was one thing you said too, whether it was reaching out and having, tell it, you were telling me whether it was reaching out and having a conversation or whether you can do the speaker thing or whatever it is. Because I think a part of me for a moment, I think I asked you, I don't know how it was, or maybe I said, are you sure? Are you sure you want to do it? And that's what you said, excuse me, ma'am. If I didn't want to, I would tell you no. You said it just so
Yes,
profoundly. I
ma'am.
was like,
Yes,
"Ooh."
ma'am. Very similar to what you said. My boundaries are so strong. Like, my no's are no's. There is no, oh, maybe, I don't know. No, it's a no. If it's a no, it's a no. And if it's a yes, it's a absolutely from the depths of my soul, yes. And it's definitely something that has, morphed over time. I think I've definitely gotten more to your, you were saying more balanced and more centered in who I am. But I think it was a combination of the work that I do in self-reflection that I really want people to understand the power of, but to that work, and that kind of improved my self-worth and some of the digging that I needed to do of like, okay, if I feel, oh no, I have to say yes, why? Like, where is that coming from? Really understanding that and understanding that if I don't want to do something, I'm allowed to not want to do that thing, even if it's a family member, even if it's a very close, romantic partner or best friend who you've been best friends with for 40 years. You're allowed to say, no, I don't have the capacity to be in this conversation right now because I have a lot that I'm dealing with. I love
Mhm.
you. I respect you. I support you. We need to talk another day. I cannot do this today. Or, there's an event that you really don't want to go to because you're tired. You want to support that particular person. You want to, be there for them. It's a no. And so, anyways, it's not like the say no and have these really rigid boundaries just because. It's the understanding of you matter first and foremost. You cannot be the person you need to be in all the little compartments of your life if you don't realize from the depths of you in your spirit, you matter first. you then you can pour outward. So that's, and you can probably hear it in my voice because it's just like, I want people to know this. Like, please, if you hear nothing else, understand that.
And if anybody could see the video right now in the background, like raising my hands, I'm so excited because she is preaching and putting it all together. I mean, I'm like, yes, whole self wellness. How do we take care of ourselves? By putting you first. And it is a practice for those of us who were not brought up that way. And honestly, I would have to say, even for you, Charity, it would still be a process, even if you were brought up that way, right?
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. Absolutely. And I think it's interesting. My husband always kind of brings me back to an understanding because I don't know if this is the same for you, Cherie. Sometimes you've come so far in a particular element of self-care, self-awareness,
Mhm.
self-healing, whatever it may be, that it's challenging for you to remember what it was like when you didn't have that level of self-awareness, when you didn't know the power of self healing, right? So he sometimes will come to me and say things that I'm like, oh, you're right. I have to go a few steps back as I'm teaching this to someone else and
Yeah.
really understand that everybody has their own journey, right?
Yeah.
So, yes, you're right. I have not, I've always been able to say no to
Mhm.
things, especially things that I don't want to do, not to family, definitely to other people, but it was
Mhm.
very difficult. Like that obligation and that kind of hold on the family obligations, that was really, really challenging. It wasn't until, I don't know, 20, maybe 2015, 2016, when something happened in the family and it like shifted me into
Mhm.
what I have been saying of like, no, 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 no. You have this
Right.
all wrong. Right. So yeah, it's a journey and it's really taking just like so small. One of the things, one of the practices that I help people with when they're trying to create these boundaries, and my number one is always to start saying no, but it's to go somewhere that has something like Costco, that has like free
Mhm.
food or free samples, and say, no, but thank you for asking. No, I'm not interested in it right now, but thank you. Just to get your mouth used to saying no.
Yeah.
And it's just little things like that. And then obviously there's some deeper, practices, if you will, activities that you can get into because it's really comes to, I really feel like it comes down to self-worth and you feel like you're not allowed to feel the way that you're feeling. And it's like a lack of self-compassion where, oh no, but I'm going to let this person down and then the world's going to stop turning and this time. I'm not even being dramatic. I mean, this is like, we really feel these things and getting into where does that come from? Because it's not true. The people who love you, the people who care for you, the people who are supposed to be in your life, that they will accept your no. They
Mhm.
will accept your boundaries. If they don't, high time. You need to take your space because mm-mm. If it's you or me, it's me every time.
And isn't that amazing though? Because immediately when you say that, so there's 2 versions of me. I felt it very subtly in the background, which is like the old version of me, that you saying that it's gonna be me and always me. And that little person in the background for me, that one where before I started my big healing journey was like, "Oh, that's very selfish to say, like, I could never
Mm,
do that." And that came up. But like the who I am now, because 'cause I've been practicing this journey for myself and working on my self-worth, this is even still something I continue with even today. But that other part of me, and I'm hearing those words and I'm like, "Yes," because it really does. That's what it comes down to in our wellness journey, in our self-healing, in completely changing the role of our lives from survival and going into thriving is exactly that. It is putting
yeah,
yourself first, and that is the difference. And is that journey hard? Heck, yes, it
yeah.
is, because if healing was easy and to thriving in our lives was easy, everyone would be
Mm,
capable and doing
come
it.
on, preach, preach. And you hit on something so important, Cherie, because I have definitely had to deal with that notion of selfishness, right? Like I
Mhm,
think one of the reasons why I really love the platform that I have on the podcast and workshops and everything is this understanding of alternative perspectives. because yes, there is a thought process of putting yourself first as being selfish. But really, when you think about it, and when you, just like you and I are understanding it, it's not you, like I was saying, you matter first. Put yourself first. If it's you or me, it's always me, right? Like I always choose,
Mhm.
not only first. That doesn't mean say no to everything else and you don't need anybody and all of those types of things. It's you first, not only. Of course, you still need your tribe of people. Of course, you still support everything that you want to support and do, but it's put your mask on first so that you can breathe, so that you can get the nourishment that you need to go out and do the things that you need to do. And I think that is that alternative perspective and that kind of pull away from selfishness, because selfishness means only you. That's it. You focus on you all the time, no matter what. Everybody else can suck it. Like that's selfish. That's not what we're talking about at all. And so I think it's really important to kind of, debunk these types of things and understandings that we've been fed, right? To
Mhm.
question. And that's really where a lot of my healing and my journey came from, was questioning these things that really made me feel inadequate or made me feel like something was wrong with me because I didn't fit that particular path. And it's like, no, there are so many ways to thrive in this world. And any of those paths start with putting yourself first. End of story.
Yes. Yes. I love where this is going. Oh my goodness. All these topics. This is exactly I love that you were driving home on some of these pieces too that I've been trying to get across. And what an amazing way of hearing somebody else say it in another perspective in another way. And so, Charity, I'm kind of wondering, would you were talking earlier about your self-reflection work. Can you tell us
Mhm.
more about that?
Yeah, it's interesting. So I kind of started, you know, my self improvement journey as more of a, I don't know, like an outer journey, if you will. So it wasn't spiritual. I just listened to your goals and dreams episode not too long ago. So if you haven't listened to that yet, listener, please put the link for that below because it was awesome. But I was focusing on my goals. I was focusing on getting a better job, right? I think losing weight might have been part of that as well. And so I was starting to listen to the Tony Robbins and whoever else was, out there kind of talking about how to improve yourself. And what I noticed was there was this feeling of inadequacy whenever I couldn't do whatever it was that they were saying was supposed to work. And I started just asking myself very basic questions. And this was probably around 2016, but over the years, I started realizing when I spent time asking myself questions that I was kind of trying to figure out to better understand who I was, it changed a lot more elements of my life. So I moved from, let me have a goal of losing 20 pounds to, why is it that I want to lose this weight? What does that mean to me? Do I feel that aesthetically I need to be a certain way? And if so, where does that come from? What is my belief of the perfect body? Is it my belief or is it somebody? And it literally just became this practice, if you will, of just going deep. Now, I didn't know this at the time. I'm just a very curious person. So usually if I'm given a question, I just go, 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 layer, 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 layer. But I started to see a pattern that when I really dug down into the questions that I was interested in, and that kind of unveiled things to me that I didn't even know I was looking for. I was like, I gotta share this. And to be honest with you, it came from my wise counsel. So a lot of my gifts, I didn't even know were gifts. I thought everybody asked questions, honestly.
Mhm.
I thought everybody was like so consumed with how other people live their lives and like understanding not the what do you call it, the outside, but just the way
Mhm.
people thought, like how you got to that path and what were you. Nobody thinks like that. Because no one cares. It's just me asking these types of questions. And so my wise council members were like, you need to share this. You ask such good questions. You need to share your journey. You need to help people understand that this comes from within. We're always so quick to look for experts, so quick to go out. Oh, well, how do I? Perfect example on losing weight. What's the first thing? I want to lose 20 pounds. Google how to lose 20 pounds. We don't go, wait a second. Where is this want even coming from? Where did, so anywho, that's really where it started, where I was able to say, if I can share this and help other people, I want to share this. So that's where the podcast, the Life 5 Minute Life Questions and Lessons podcast came in. And it's been remarkable. I've had such great feedback, and definitely starting to expand in other, avenues. Really, retreats and workshops are like my jam. I love getting into the work, if you would. But yeah, that's really how the journey started and kind of continues to grow from there.
That is amazing. And for anybody, if you're looking for another podcast, maybe similar to mine, or just looking for something to give you some more tips on how you're getting through and asking these questions, I highly recommend Charity's podcast. Again, her podcast is Life's Questions and Lessons. You guys, truly, it are 5-minute episodes. I've gone through and I have binged a bunch of them at once because somehow you pack a big punch of all the
Oh.
information, not like mine where it might take me 30 minutes to kind of get to my point. Charity gets to it in 5 minutes. That's pretty
Yeah.
amazing. So, if you go over there and have a listen, she's got some great topics in there. I think I listened to one, it was last year, you had the series going, and it was
Hmm.
really good, and I really liked it. I think I sent it to a couple of people I knew they were going through some things. I'm like, "You gotta listen, it's only 5 minutes."
Thank you so much for sharing that, for saying that. It's funny because when I started in 2021, and when I started, it was 10 minutes. And then I was like, if I can say what I need to say in 10 minutes, I can say it in 5. And
Yeah.
so it's interesting because for me, again, it's something that comes natural, right? To like get to it, like say what you need to say so that the person can get on about their business and go on about their day. Like that's my woman. She has stuff to do.
Yeah.
She might have kids crying in the background. She only got 5 minutes to listen to what I have to say. So make it quick, get to it. That's just like how
Yeah.
I think. But it's so funny. We started series, I think, season 2, because we're on season 3 right now. And season 2, and that was from my husband. He was like, I think you should do series because you really are teaching in every
Mhm.
episode. And if you're able to kind of put a thread together. So yeah, one of our, I'd say the top series was probably the one on emotions. So it was kind of what gift does X bring? So what gift does anger bring? What gift does fear bring? And it was, again, this alternative perspective of these emotions that we don't really like to come visit us too often. But remembering also, and hopefully having some comfort in, emotions are visitors, meaning they will leave at some time, some point. So yeah, but I love it. I'm excited about the new series. It's all about what are you still carrying. So
Ooh.
that's definitely getting a little deep, Cherie.
Yeah, I was gonna
We get
say,
deep.
it sounds like my season 2.
You gotta dig in. I always say, we're here, in your point, light workers. We gotta help. And there's so much and so many of us going through emotional and mental turmoil that has not been addressed. And so if I could just little pennies in the puddle, if you will, just to get people to understand you're not alone in this. Like this is hard stuff. Life is really hard. But let's think about this. Let's challenge some of the things and some of the thoughts and beliefs that's making our lives harder than it probably really needs to be. And that's definitely one of the things that I try to do. Remind people like you have a choice. You can't necessarily choose every single thought, right? I haven't figured out how to do that, but you do have choices in how you believe, how you go through life, the things that you say yes to, the things that you allow into your universe. You have a lot more choices than you think you do.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. I was getting lost there for a second. I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I'm still part of this podcast." Um, yes, everything Charity just said, I am gonna drive home with that exclamation point on top. Yes, encore. Charity, this has been amazing. Again, I am so honored that you came on this show. For everybody else out there who wants a little bit more Charity, like I said, she's got her podcast, Life's Questions and Lessons. You can go and find her on all the major outlets. You can also go to her YouTube now and go find her awesome journals. You said guided journaling and guided meditation, correct?
Yes, I started those. Listeners were like, I don't know what to do with all these questions. And guided journaling is definitely something that's one of my favorite practices. So I started offering those where we're journaling together, getting that action going, Cherie. I don't want you just
Yay!
sitting down, not doing nothing. Let's take some action.
And that is the other key to actually changing and thriving is not just wishing up your goals and dreams or wanting something, it's starting to do the work for yourself. And that's amazing. So you can find her at YouTube on her YouTube channel. Again, that is at Life's Questions and Lessons. You can also find Charity on LinkedIn. So linkedin.com/Charity Youngblood is her name there. And so you can also go to her podcast page and learn more about her or the podcast there at lifesquestionsandlessons.com. Just so everybody knows, in case you couldn't write all of that down fast enough, that's okay. We will put the links on the notes of the episode, and you can go onto social media as I will be sharing Charity's gorgeous face and all of her links there. So, again, thank you so much, Charity, for coming on. This has truly been a
Thank
pleasure.
you.
And not only that, like, this journey is amazing. And you are one of those key people that are on my wellness tribe now because you have made a safe place for me. And I'm hoping it's the same way around for you, where we are having a moment, we pull ourselves right back up. Because in the
Mhm.
reality of it all, as we put ourselves first, we need our tribe sometimes to pull us up when we can't get there ourselves. So thank you for being one of
Absolutely.
those people for me.
Thank you, Cherie. Thank you so much for having me. This has been awesome. Absolutely. Love having you in my corner and supporting you in any way.
Yay!
Thank you.
Ditto, ditto. So until next time, beautiful souls, be kind to yourself. With so much love and gratitude, I want to thank you for listening to this week's episode. My hope today is that the message continues to guide you along your path to healing. To learn more about me and my purposeful work, visit my website at abouthealingmedium.com. You can also follow About Healing Medium on Facebook and Instagram, where you can find the episode's healing guidance, quotes, tips, insights, and chances to win free stuff. To ask a question or to share comments, email me at abouthealingpodcast@gmail.com, or feel free to reach me on Facebook and Instagram at About Healing Medium. Until next time, be kind to yourself.